They used to call me Larry the Loser. Not behind my back, right to my face. I worked at FleetLink Logistics for 12 years. Same cubicle, same coffee stains on the carpet, same people laughing at the same dumb jokes. And usually those jokes were about me. Started small. The first year, I was just the quiet guy. You know the type, shows up early, eats lunch alone, never complains. That's how I thought you earned respect. Turns out that's just how you become an easy target. "Hey Larry," one of the sales guys, Rick, would shout across the room. "How's your imaginary girlfriend doing?" Everyone laughed. Even the boss, Tom Raines, smirked while pretending to type. I laughed too at first. You do that when you don't want to make it worse. But after a few years, it stops being funny. The thing is, I was good at my job. IT support, systems maintenance, back-end monitoring, the kind of work nobody notices until something breaks. And nothing ever broke on my watch. But when you're quiet, people assume you're weak. One Friday around year 10, we had an all-hands meeting. Tom, our boss, was hyping everyone up about innovation and ideas that drive growth. He asked if anyone had suggestions for improving the logistics platform. I had been building a prototype at home, a dashboard that automated their daily reports. I spent nights coding it, thinking maybe this was my shot to be seen. So I raised my hand. "Yeah, Larry?" Tom said, already smirking. "I've been working on a system that could." Before I could finish, Rick cut in. "Oh no, here we go. Larry's gonna revolutionize logistics again." Everyone laughed. Tom didn't stop them. He just said, "Maybe email it to me, Larry. We'll take a look." They never did. That night, I stayed late to fix the network. Everyone else had gone home. When I walked past the break room, I heard voices. Tom, Rick, and 2 others. 12 years and he still thinks we'll listen to his crap, Rick said. "Hey, at least he's consistent," Tom joked. "You can always count on Larry to waste his time." I stood there for maybe a full minute. No anger, just a cold, sharp silence inside me. Then I went back to my desk, wiped my flash drive clean, and left. The next Monday I quit. No speech, no notice. Just a short email. Effective immediately, I resign. "Thank you for the opportunity." Tom replied with one line. "Good luck, Larry." No one said goodbye. I walked out with a cardboard box and no plan. I had $4,300 in my account and 12 years of quiet frustration in my chest. That's all. For the first time in my life, I didn't set an alarm. For the next few weeks, I just existed. Slept. Walked. Thought. Then, one afternoon, I opened my old laptop, the one with the prototype dashboard they'd laughed at. I thought, screw it. I started coding again. At night, I'd take freelance IT jobs, small fixes, website cleanups, whatever paid rent. During the day, I built my system brick by brick. 6 months later, I had a working product. A platform that could track fleet routes, delivery times, and driver data in real time. I called it RouteMind. I had no investors, no connections, just a GitHub page and a drive that finally had somewhere to go. One night, around 2 a.m., I posted a demo video on LinkedIn, just me explaining what the software did. I went to bed thinking maybe 10 people would see it. The next morning, I had 27 messages from business owners asking for a trial. By the end of the week, I had my first client, a small courier service in Ohio. Then another, and another. It spread fast because it worked. For the first time, people listened to me. Not because they liked me, because they needed me. A year later, RouteMind had 10 employees. 3 years later, we were serving over 200 logistics companies nationwide. I didn't just make money, I made a name. And every time I saw the numbers go up, I remembered their laughter. I never told anyone about FleetLink. Until one morning, 5 years after I'd quit, I opened the business section and saw a headline. FleetLink Logistics faces bankruptcy after data breach. I couldn't help it. I smiled. They'd ignored my warnings about network security for years. Now it had finally caught up with them. That night, over whiskey in my apartment, I made a decision. I called my lawyer and said, "Find out what it'd take to buy them." He laughed at first, thinking I was joking. But I wasn't. "Larry," he said, You really want to buy the company that treated you like crap? Yeah, I said. That's exactly why. My lawyer called back 3 days later. FleetLink's valuation dropped like a rock, he said. They're desperate. You could take them over for less than what you spent on your last software upgrade. I almost laughed. Make it happen, I said. Took 4 months. Paperwork, silent negotiations, setting up shell companies so nobody knew it was me behind the buyout. I didn't want to fight. I wanted a reveal. When the deal finally went through, the company name on the papers looked almost ridiculous. FleetLink Logistics LLC, owned by RouteMind Holdings. I stared at it for a long time. 12 years of humiliation summed up in one line of legal text. 2 weeks later, I got an email from my new HR director. The same HR department that once ignored every complaint I filed. Subject: welcome meeting scheduled. Message: we're excited to meet the new owner next Monday at 10 a.m. I sat there, reading that line again and again. Meet the new owner. They had no idea. That Monday morning, I put on a dark suit. Not expensive, just clean, sharp. I looked like someone you'd listen to. As I parked outside the FleetLink building, I felt something weird. Not anger, not fear, just calm. The same cracked sign was still there. Same gray walls. Same coffee smell leaking through the doors. Only difference was, this time I walked in through the main entrance. The receptionist looked up. She didn't recognize me. Good morning, sir. Are you here for the ownership meeting? Yes, I said. Larry Brooks. Her eyes flickered for a second, maybe at the name, but she said nothing. In the conference room, they were already waiting, Tom, Rick, and a few others I half remembered. The moment I stepped in, Rick froze. Tom's smile collapsed halfway through his good morning. I could see it in their faces, the calculation, the disbelief, the panic. Larry, Tom said finally, his voice cracking. Mr. Brooks, I corrected. Nice to see you again. The silence after that was perfect. We sat down. Tom tried to recover, flipping through papers, pretending this was business as usual. So, you're the one who acquired us, he said. Congrats. Small world, huh? Not that small, I said. You made sure of that. Rick coughed, trying to act casual. So what's the plan, boss? Gonna merge us into your fancy new company? I looked straight at him. Funny. You didn't call me boss back then. He shifted in his seat. Nobody laughed. Tom cleared his throat. Look, Larry, sorry, Mr. Brooks, whatever happened in the past, let's put it behind us. We're professionals here. Behind us, I said quietly. You made 12 years feel like hell, and now you want to call it water under the bridge? Tom leaned back, forced a smile. You got your revenge, I guess. You bought the place. That's something. I didn't buy it for revenge, I said. I bought it because I can run it better than you ever did. That hit him. His jaw tightened. I turned to the rest of the room. From today on, things change. There's no old team and new team. There's just one company, mine. Tom started to speak again, but I raised a hand. I'm not done. I slid a folder across the table. Inside were termination papers. Tom's name was at the top. Rick's right below. You're both done, I said. Tom blinked, like he couldn't process it. You can't just. I can, I said. And I did. Rick laughed nervously. Come on, man. This isn't funny. No, I said. It isn't. They stood up, mumbling something about unfair treatment and legal action. I let them talk. When they finally stormed out, the room was dead quiet. The rest of the staff stared at me like they were waiting for the punchline. But there wasn't one. I looked around the table. Anyone else here who thinks I don't belong in this chair? Nobody spoke. Good, I said. Then let's get to work. That first week was chaos. Half the management quit. The other half tried to stay invisible. I didn't care. I spent hours walking the floor, talking to people I'd never noticed before. Warehouse staff, dispatchers, drivers. They were nervous at first, expecting some cold corporate takeover. But when they realized I actually listened, the fear started to fade. One guy, Mike from shipping, said quietly, You used to work here, didn't you? Yeah, I said. Long time ago. He nodded. Then maybe we'll finally get someone who gives a damn. That one sentence made everything worth it. By the end of the month, the place was running smoother than it had in years. The numbers climbed. Clients returned. I'd done what I came to do. Not just buy it, but fix it. Still, some nights I'd sit in my new office, the same one Tom used to occupy, and just stare out the window. The city looked different from up here. Or maybe I did. The next few months were strange. I had the same name on the employee badge, Larry Brooks, but now it came with a door that said CEO. People walked past me with straight backs and quiet voices. Sometimes, when I caught my reflection in the glass, I barely recognized myself. Fleet Link wasn't just broken, it was hollow. The systems were outdated, the workers underpaid, the culture poisoned by years of cheap management. So I started over. No flashy slogans. No team-building retreats. Just work. Real, quiet, consistent work. I rebuilt the IT systems myself with a few engineers from RouteMind. I raised driver pay, scrapped the nonsense bonus structures, and gave warehouse workers better hours. In 3 months, turnover dropped to almost zero. In 6, we were back in profit. But success doesn't erase the past. It just shines a brighter light on it. One afternoon, as I was reviewing reports, my assistant buzzed me. "Sir, there's someone here to see you. Says his name is Tom Raines." I froze for a second, then said, "Send him in." The door opened, and there he was. Same expensive watch, same fake grin, just more tired now. "Larry," he said, "you look good." "Mr. Brooks," I corrected. He sighed, sat down without asking. "Look, I know you don't owe me anything, but I came to talk." "I can imagine." He shifted in his seat. "I've been out of work for months. Nobody's hiring. I made mistakes, yeah, but I kept that company running for a decade." I stared at him. "You didn't run it, Tom. You drained it. And you broke people while doing it." He looked down, rubbing his palms together. "I'm asking for a second chance." I leaned back thinking. There was a time when that would have felt good, him begging. But now it just felt empty. "You had 12 years to give me one," I said quietly. "You didn't. Get out." He looked like he wanted to argue, but the words never came. He just nodded, stood up, and walked out. That night I stayed late. The office was quiet except for the hum of the servers. I sat at my old desk, the one they'd made fun of me for keeping too neat. It was still there under a pile of dust and storage. I ran my hand along it, remembering the years I'd spent sitting here, trying to matter. It hit me that revenge didn't feel like victory. It just felt like silence after too much noise. Still, I wasn't done yet. A week later, Rick showed up. Not in person, he sent an email. "Hey Larry, heard you're killing it. Any chance you'd want some old friends back? I've been in sales for 20 years, I could help rebuild." I replied with one line, "We're doing fine without clowns." He didn't answer. Meanwhile, the employees who'd stayed started to trust me. One afternoon, a woman from accounting, her name was Denise, stopped me in the hallway. "You really used to work here, didn't you?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. She smiled. "Guess karma's real after all." Maybe it was. A few months later, we held a company meeting, the first one since I'd taken over. No flashy screens, no fake energy. Just everyone in the same room. I stood up front and said, "Some of you know who I used to be here. Some of you don't. Doesn't matter. What matters is this: we don't do mockery, we don't do games. Everyone here matters, or nobody does." There was a quiet kind of respect in the room. No applause, no cheering. Just eyes that finally saw me as something other than a joke. But success attracts attention. 2 weeks later, a competitor tried to buy us out. A mid-sized firm that wanted our client base. The offer came with a fat number and a simple condition. I'd have to step down. I didn't even blink. "Tell them no," I said. When my CFO asked why, I said, "Because this isn't just a company. It's the place where I learned what not to be." Around that time, an intern named Kyle stopped by my office. He was quiet, awkward, reminded me of myself years ago. "Sir," he said. I had an idea for a dashboard that tracks shipment delays in real time. I smiled. Show me. He blinked. Really? Yeah. Don't email it. Walk me through it. He pulled up his laptop, nervous, stumbling over his words. But the idea was solid, better than anything I'd seen in years. When he finished, I said, You've got something here. Build it out. I'll give you a team. His eyes lit up. Thank you, sir. I thought. Don't think. Just do the work. As he walked out, I realized I'd just rewritten my own story, the way it should have gone the first time. FleetLink was alive again. But I wasn't naive. I knew what came next: growth, competition, maybe betrayal. Still, this time I wasn't scared. I'd already been through worse. A year passed. FleetLink was stable again, profitable, growing, quiet. Just how I liked it. Sometimes I'd walk through the halls and catch myself listening for laughter. The kind that used to sting. It wasn't there anymore. People worked, joked, moved around like they belonged. No one looked scared to speak. Felt real. One Friday evening, I was packing up when Denise knocked on the door. You're not leaving already, are you? She said, smiling. I'm trying to, I said. Old habits die hard. She handed me a small box. What's this? Something we found cleaning out storage. Thought you might want it. I opened it. Inside was my old employee ID badge, the one that said Larry Brooks, IT support. The photo was terrible. I looked younger, smaller, unsure. For a while, I just stared at it. Then I said, You can throw it out. Denise shook her head. You earned it back. Keep it. She left, and I sat there alone, holding that piece of plastic. Later that night, I went up to the roof. The city was quiet, orange lights stretching for miles. The same skyline I used to stare at during lunch breaks, wondering what it'd feel like to matter. I thought I'd feel proud, victorious, whatever word people use when they imagine revenge. But mostly I just felt done. Not angry, not broken, just finished with it. A week later, I got an email from a job applicant. Subject line, Junior Analyst position, Rick Haynes. Yeah, that Rick. I almost deleted it. Then curiosity won. His resume was short, desperate. Sales jobs, short stints, no stability. At the bottom, he'd written a note. If you're still the guy I remember, you'll probably laugh at this. But if you're the man everyone says you are now, maybe you'll give me a chance. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed back. Interviews on Tuesday. Don't be late. Tuesday came. He walked in, thinner, older, eyes heavy. He didn't even try to joke. Larry, he said. Mr. Brooks. I corrected automatically. He nodded. Right, Mr. Brooks. We talked. About numbers, about clients, about work. He was still sharp, cocky edge gone, but the skill was there. When it was over, he stood up and said, Look, I don't expect forgiveness. I just want a shot. I looked at him for a second. You're not getting sales, I said. But we need someone in customer retention. The smaller, harder, less pay. He blinked. You're serious? Yeah, don't screw it up. He swallowed hard, nodded. I won't. When he left, I just sat there. It wasn't forgiveness, not really. It was closure. A month later, I walked past the break room. Rick was in there helping Kyle, the intern, with a client call. Calm, patient. Nothing like the man I remembered. I didn't say anything, just watched for a moment and kept walking. One night, I stayed late again. The office was quiet. The city outside was humming. I opened the blinds, looked out, and thought about the 12 years I'd spent thinking I'd never matter. Now I knew better. You don't wait for people to see your worth. You build something so solid they can't ignore it anymore. As I shut off the lights and walked out, I passed the glass door with the logo, FleetLink Logistics, a RouteMind company. The same name, same building. Just a different story now. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like Larry the loser. I just felt like me. I locked the door behind me and smiled. That was enough.